Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live session. So, guys, we'll be taking you straight to what we have for you guys today. Looking at my screen, you can see the title there that the United States Legal Panel terminates Femi Gbajabiamila's law license. You can see the reasons behind that, as in they have grounds, for taking this step. We want to dive deep into this topic because this is really a bombshell. These are the people in power, and such a headline coming out to the public is a bit worrisome. It's a bit disturbing. Honestly, before now, the image of Nigeria has been struggling, and that was what this 2023 presidential election was equally meant to fix because Nigeria needs a sort of rebranding. We needed a rebirth of our nation. And that's why the youths came out. They were like, enough is enough. We've got to fix Nigeria. But we all know how INEC did not allow the Nigerian people to actualize their dream, although that is not far from being fetched. So I'm going to allow Dr. Etel to come in and dissect this title for us so that we'll get to understand what it entails. Doctor, please, over to you.
Yeah, good evening, listeners, Nigerians, and lovers of Nigeria. It's unfortunate the kind of things we hear from the people who are in charge of Nigeria. Let me put it this way: it says the Georgia State Bar official, that is Georgia State in the US, where this is coming from. It says the Georgia State Bar official told the Gazette, which is this publisher, told the Gazette that Mr. Gbajabiamila's latest ordeal began when a client filed a grievance against him for theft. For theft. Mr. Gbajabiamila subsequently ignored the bar and stopped paying his fees and other membership obligations. The Gazette was told that attempts were made to reach Mr. Gbajabiamila through his Peachtree Road address in Atlanta, in Georgia, but he frustrated it all. On July 2015, he was suspended for 5 years. The Gazette learned. The suspension was finally approved as a permanent termination of his membership on July 1, 2020. He was admitted to the State Bar of Georgia as far back as July 29, 2001. Okay. Now, as at the time he's doing all these things, according to this paper, the Gazette, he was a member of House of Representatives. Now, here, according to this, based on the information we have from this publication, someone who is a lawmaker, a federal lawmaker in Nigeria, just give me a second, please, if you don't mind. Excuse me. A federal lawmaker, thank you. A federal lawmaker in Nigeria is a fugitive in the US, as it were, is a felon, is someone whom a body like the Bar Association barred. For what? For theft. I kept saying it that something worries me. The nature and the caliber of people we have in our government in Nigeria. Remember when the Senate were screening ministers? You remember the person whom, according to the Senate president, Akpabio said, I'm quoting Akpabio, that it is like this person entered primary school at 3 years based on the CV he gave them. He did not withdraw the CV. Till today, the CV has not been corrected. So that CV was still like that. And some other person in that Senate woke up and say that they should forgive him, that it is an error. And another senator from Mubi said that it is because he's so brilliant that he didn't actually need to be up to 5 or 6 years to go to primary school. That if he's brilliant like him, that he himself was brilliant, that he wrote his own exams and he won as if exam is election. And when you listen to the English of this person who said that he himself was brilliant coming from Adamawa State, you now imagine the level of intelligence of the people who are making laws for us. And the person in question here that the Gazette is talking about, boldly talking about, was not just a member of House of Representatives in Nigeria. He was actually a former Speaker of the House of Representatives. That is, he was the number 4 man in Nigeria in the hierarchy. How do these people look at us from America when they see somebody whom they know his history, antecedent, the career or ethical behavior of his career path, rising to become number 4 in a country like Nigeria? That makes me remember David Cameron's statement when he said that Nigerians are fantastically corrupt. Fantastically. Now, this person in question now is no longer the Speaker of House of Representatives. He is currently the Chief of Staff to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. How do we reconcile all these things? And that is why all the people that the president sent their name to the Senate, all of them got cleared. Because sometimes you ask yourself, if you live in a glass house, do you throw stones? Who are you going to condemn? Who are you going to remove when you are the person who will condemn or remove the person? Your own bag is full of garbage. So you see how it becomes a vicious cycle. And then when you try to relate it today, I was just reflecting and I said, I was reflecting on the whole thing that happened during the election. How INEC quoted what is in the Electoral Act. I don't say they made promise. They quoted what was in the Electoral Act, what was in the law. How they told all Nigerians that they will abide by the law. And how all of a sudden, I was imagining how they rushed by 3 a.m. to declare results, issued certificate of return. I started seeing this as an organized network, the network between politicians and INEC, including the judiciary. I see it like a 3-ring network. The politicians, the APC, the INEC, and then the judiciary. So it's
and
more
the security agents too.
Of course, the security agents are their messenger. So it's more like they discuss. The way you run relay in a track and field event. INEC will start, hand over to APC, and APC will hand over to the judiciary, and judiciary will now do the last lap. So it's more like, just don't worry, hand over to us. Police, you can stand back and watch people kill people. That is why a police commissioner will come on air to tell us that someone who was threatening the life of people was just joking. And afterwards, the same threat was carried out and police did nothing. Because they're up in the loop. So the police, the security agencies in a place like River State, as I was reflecting, I said, so now like that, all those things where we say we see for video in River State, now so it waka go. The judges say it's okay, no problem. So all those police van that came to cut away ballot boxes in River State, presidential election ballot boxes, that's all. Because there is a governor in there was a governor in River State, whom as much as we can know now, who had mentors that were sitting on the Supreme Court, who knew that as a retired Supreme Court member, it's not easy. You can always reach any other judge in Nigeria and say, hey, we're interested in this thing. Do the needful. So when the like of the former governor of River State was talking tough, he was talking tough because he knew the plan on ground. He knew that it's not about election, it's not about voting, it's not about beavers, it's not about IREF. All those things were nonsense. It's not existing in their world. It was not existing in their world. It is us who think we are law-abiding. It is us who thought there was a script written in the law that we want to follow, who did not know that there was another script they were acting. And that script they were acting is what played out. Whilst we are saying, all eyes on judiciary, IRF, beavers, we were deceiving ourselves. If you read the judgment of the appeal court, you will see how they contradicted themselves in many things. Even where INEC indicted themselves, the court exonerated them. It looked as though, indeed, they just lifted APC's response and read it in court. That's to tell you that it was orchestrated. And now when you begin to see this kind of headlines, it will begin to give you an understanding of the character, the personalities, the antecedents, the value system of the people who are managing the handle of power in Nigeria. And then you ask yourself, where do we go from here? The like of Peter Obi and his kind of politics of rule of law, politics of follow the rule, politics of get your PVC, stand in the line, vote, watch your vote counted without any stone in your pocket, go home and watch what is happening on the IREF, and then the result will be declared according to law and the winner will be emerged. My big question is Nigeria really ready, matured, prepared, equipped to play that kind of politics? The likes of Peter Obi and many other Nigerians like him, can they ever near the handle of power when this kind of people now we have are handling the levers of power? I like to be, I've said, I don't know if it was on this platform that I said it. I am a post-positivist realist. That is my idea, my worldview, my philosophical worldview that underpinned and underlined my PhD research. So I like to scientifically gather the logic, put it together, and be realistic in my analysis. If we have this kind of people managing the levers of power in Nigeria, if we have the type of INEC we have today, and the kind of politicians that are liaising with them, and the kind of judiciary that will endorse them. Oh, where are we going? Because there is no arm that you can say that all these things they are doing, when it gets to this arm will diffuse it. So it looks like an orchestrated system. It's a gangs, is an interwoven chain system. And it surprises me, it troubles me, it breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. But that is the Nigeria we have. That is why we need to pray and trust God to help us, because as it is now, I don't know what else to say.
Doc, thank you. Doc, I wanted to ask, can you please maybe read out some of the content so that our viewers will get to really understand? And does it mean that if this is actually the fact, does it mean that he can no longer practice law, although he's not currently practicing because he has gone into politics? But does it mean he won't be addressed any longer as a lawyer? Because I
In
believe
the
it's the
US,
US that issued him this license, and now they are taking it off from him.
yes, just like to practice law in the US, he can't practice law in the US again. And beside, what does he need that for? What does he need that for? His pension will float 10 law firms in Nigeria. His pension for life as a former speaker, former number 4, what does he need practicing law to do? These are the kingmakers in the judiciary. They determine who becomes judges. Now, Buba Galadima, didn't you hear Buba Galadima talk that the list of the ministers we have today are Gbajabiamila's list, that he, as the chief of staff, is him that vetted who will go and who will not go. You understand? So, what these people are teaching the young people is that the end indeed justifies the means. And like we discussed yesterday, if you see people with questionable characters all of a sudden gather many followers in the social media, you see them shaking hand with governor, meaning the end justifies the means. It does not matter how you made it, how you come about it, just make it and you belong. That's what they're teaching the young ones. And they're discouraging the young ones from being industrious. Why would you be industrious? For instance, in Nigeria, politics is the highest paid industry in Nigeria. It's the highest paid industry in Nigeria. Look at how much money that is appropriated to the legislators. Look at what they take home. It's the highest paid industry in Nigeria. Why would someone work hard? I mean, you listen to it. You listen to Ruben Abati the other day, and which is true. You don't even need to. What you need to become a president in Nigeria is just go to secondary school. You don't need to pass. You can come out with a F9, F9 all through. As long as there is a testimonial from the secondary school that you attended secondary school, you're qualified. So why would people want to work hard? Why? Why would people want to work hard in our system?
Doc, thank you very much. Honestly, this is not looking good, this title itself, looking at it the way they wrote it, that the reasons behind this is stealing money from clients, violating bar rules.
And
That
then
word,
again, the first paragraph, which you didn't read, the first paragraph of this particular news item says, former Nigerian House Speaker. You see how they introduced it? Just look at the integrity of the country. They started by saying, former Nigerian House Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, has been terminated as a licensed lawyer of the State Bar of Georgia in the United States after his corruption and ethical lapses outstripped acceptable threshold for members. Outstripped. That is, this is, you remember that we used to say in Nigeria, this is beyond mecotalism. It has outstripped, it is beyond what suspension can cure. It is beyond what suspension can cure. Now, permanently debarred. It's not that he's debarred, that he's no longer going to be practiced, so he's going to be hungry. No, we are talking about integrity, especially integrity of people who are handling the levers of power in a country. We're not talking about a local government chairman. We're not talking about, look at the current president of America. They are trying to impeach him because of his business conduct as far back as when he was the vice to Obama. Can you imagine? They are still investigating him, investigating the current president for what happened when he was a vice president. That is, he got into power January 2021. Okay? So he's been in power for about 2.5 years now. 2.5 years plus 8 years of Obama is 10.5 years, plus 4 years of Trump is 14.5 years. Something that may have happened some 14 years ago or some 10 years ago. They are still investigating. And they are saying that if he's found guilty, he will be removed as a sitting president. They will remove him now as a sitting president for something that may have happened 10 years ago when he's the vice president. Why can't we have that kind of system here? Why can't we have that kind of system here? If we have that kind of system here, I mean, just go to the YouTube and type the name of any of our senators, especially including the Senate president. The things you hear that happened in NDDC. But life goes on. Life moves on. That's the system we found ourselves.
Yes, Nigeria.
Someone literally stole his state dry. Have even gone, oh goodness me, gone to prison in the UK, comes back to Nigeria. He led the class of 99 governors. He led them to Aso Rock. See how bold these people are.
Honestly, the kind of leadership APC has brought in Nigeria, I don't know. I don't even know what we are going to see in the future. What are we going to tell our children? Especially looking at the kind of people we have today in governance. Look at what is happening in Imo State. The governor of Imo State is being accused of so many things. And nobody talks against him, especially the people in APC. They tend, just to pay a blind eye to what is happening in Imo State. And people have been coming out to expose some of the things he's doing. But because he's a very strong member in the APC, he's untouchable. Nigeria is a country where we reward all these politicians, even after they've done whatever they do. You give them a very good position, and then you just forget about the past. These are some of the things we must be out to correct. And for those of us who have found faith in people like Peter Obi and other people like him, let's just keep to that dream of a new Nigeria. I hope that one day is going to come. So APC is already preparing for their rerun. Let me just play, sorry, for 2027 presidential election, because their youth leader said something, during an interview. You get to know that they are already making plans. I mean, these people didn't find any problem, any issue with this 2023 presidential election. They are already warming up for the forthcoming election that that is still going to take like 3 years plus. This is some of their smart moves, but I know that the Nigerian people are
Gentlemen, you are
strong
welcome to
enough to
another
like
great session with the
dismantle
presidential
whatever they are
candidate of
planning to do.
the fictional Common Sense People's Party. Now, a society is as good by well-meaning Nigerians on countless.
Many of them, in particular those under the age of 18, who are going to be our voters at the next 2027 election, they are all going back to school for their first term this September. On behalf of His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we want to wish you a safe journey back to school. We want to pray for God's guidance for you and your family. We want to encourage you that as you return to school, that you give your education the best of its commitment, so that you can also achieve greatness someday.
Yeah.
Don't be intimidated, never give up, and be assured that the president, your president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is working night and day to ensure that you can get value for your education, and that by the time you are graduating from school, you have a job waiting for you, and you can live in the Nigeria you are proud of. Thank you, and God bless.
Yes, so Doc, you heard what he said. He was
I heard,
speaking to those of them that maybe they are 18 or they are 17, they're about getting to 18 years. They will be voting for the first time, in the forthcoming presidential election. We've not even settled this one, but he's already sending out a message to those of them that will be voting for the first time, meaning they are already putting in plans, for the next election. Or I don't even know. Do you know that the school fees has been increased? Some people say it has been doubled, and people are really lamenting the cost of things, the prices of things. Some people said they are even going to withdraw their kids from school. Let me just allow this video to play further. Credit to Ben
Thank
Jokes.
you so much indeed. Dio Israel, National Youth Leader.
You heard him. Now, this shows you how wicked and heartless Dio Israel, the national leader of APC Youths, is. Because he dodged all the major issues and began praying useless prayer for people. After 100% increase in school fees, and with the rate of inflation in Nigeria that has affected all the school materials, this is what this wicked man has to tell children that are returning to school. And look at how Nigerians reacted to that video. This tweet by Oba Ilukon says, "Now tell your principal that some of them ain't going back to school because their parents can no longer pay their school fees. Tell your wicked principal that my first daughter is dropping out of school so the younger ones can continue. God will judge you all." Oh, this is so painful. And this tweet is by Obai Lukon, somebody from the southwest. And that's why we kept on saying that this is not about tribe or religion. And this tweet by Charles right here says, "Working day and night to increase school fees." Oh, what a pity. And this tweet says, "Sir Dio Israel, what can you do to help us with Unilag school fees? That hike is just too much for us to bear. Aya. Come to our aid, please." Oh, this is heartbreaking. Now, let's get to the issue of the community.
Yes, Doc, I don't know what your thoughts are before we
my,
go to the
my
next video.
thoughts is simple and straightforward. This is what is called gaslighting. Are they planning for election in 2027? Do they care?
Hmm.
They're not planning for it. They talk. I've never seen a party that is as proud, incompetent, and callous in the little years I've existed like APC. They don't care. They want it, they get it their way. They do anything, they break anything they can break just to arrive where they want to arrive. And it's unfortunate that a young man like Dio Israel, because of the little benefit he's getting, allowed himself to be used, allowed himself to feel comfortable, allowed himself to make this, to utter this kind of words when he knows what Nigerian youths like him are going through. He knows what young men like him are going through.
On his team.
It's a pity.
Yeah, Doc. So before we go for today, Peter Obi was
Now we
in
have
Bangladesh.
Cardoso, but I mean, I guess you guys discussed it earlier. I hope that, the policies of the CBN or the reforms will take shape. Well, in another development, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, was in Bangladesh over the weekend to attend the global conference organized by the government of Bangladesh in conjunction with the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council in Dhaka. On the sidelines of the conference, Obi met with Prime Minister of the country, Sheikh Hasina, and congratulated her as well as her team for what they have been able to achieve in their nation with the support of SMEs in the last 15 years. While delivering his remarks at the summit, Obi stated, among other salient points, that SMEs in Commonwealth countries are key to global economic growth and rapid expansion.
I must say that credits to SMEs in Bangladesh have been quite impressive, though not what it should be. But in other countries, like in Nigeria and Africa, they need to do more. There needs to be a dedicated percentage of the overall country credit lending that should go to SMEs, being that this is the engine in which those countries can grow and be able to build sustainable development and improve the economy.
All right, Rufai, over to you.
All right, a couple of things about those two stories. I mean, President Tinubu finally got his team. It's time for them to get out to work. He's got Yemi Cardoso in there. He's got Wale Edo. It's just time to get out to work and fix the economy of this country as much as we can, because we have a lot of problems. Inflation is high. Everything's at an all-time low for Nigeria. Real quickly, as regards to Obi in Bangladesh, very well said. He's constantly touted Bangladesh as a model for SME, and we can't absolve the fact that it's not today we've been talking about Bangladesh as a model for SME. Don't forget, Ibrahim Babangida, adapted the model of Bangladesh, the Grameen Bank set up by Mohammed Yunus many years ago, to set up something called People's Bank in Nigeria, that was headed by the likes of Maria Shokanu and Taishulari of blessed memory is dead. So that's to show you that we've always looked at Bangladesh as a model. And it's gone there, said, 40% of their GDP is pretty much for small business. You can see the revolutionary work done by, Sheikh Hashina, the daughter of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman of Bangladesh there. And it's just gone there to talk about this in summit and conclude.
Yeah, so guys, we can't wait to have leaders like this. As in, when you go to Bangladesh, we all know the story of Bangladesh. Peter Obi each time he talks, he makes reference to Bangladesh because they've once been in the situation that Nigeria is today. And Peter Obi has always said we can learn from people that have gone through what we are going through today. We can learn from them, see what they did. One of them is paying attention to, small businesses that they have in their country. And you can see that these people have really recognized Peter Obi, acknowledging their efforts. They invited him, to come and speak in this conference. And for us, it's really a welcoming development because it makes us proud seeing Peter Obi being invited, meaning that the world is seeing that this man has value. We all know each time he quotes his data, they will ask him, now statistics we go chop, but you can see that he has those statistics that he keeps quoting. They are really real. And like you can see, this country is really appreciating the way Mr. Peter Obi acknowledges their efforts. And he wants Nigeria to also borrow from what they've done so that we can also move ahead and, be prosperous like all these other countries. Look at India. India was one of the countries that had the poorest population. But you can see today, India is really doing well. Nigeria has taken over to become the headquarters of poverty, while India is excelling despite the kind of population that they have. So, Doc, let us hear what you've got to say and take a look at some of the comments here and close for today.
Yemi Cardoso and is it Yomi Edu and Cardoso? These two names have been on the mouth of the president for as long as I've known him. Finally, he's in power. Finally, he has appointed them, both for the economy, and for the CBN. So they are the two human beings Nigeria do not have in power since. That's why we've been suffering. They are the two human beings that if they were in the government as far back as 2015, $1 will become $1 will become $1. Finally, they are now in power. Their Oga has appointed them. They are now managing the economy and in charge of central bank. Please, what is the exchange rate today? Is $1 now equal to $1? We are waiting and we pray. May they succeed for the good of all Nigerians. That's number one. Number two, you may like him, you may dislike him, you may call him names, but until they end up going back to pick the script of what P2B tells them is the answer, they will not get the Nigeria of their desire. Simple. He knows what to do. He knows where the solution is coming from. He has the capacity. They refuse him, but they can't cross that bridge without recognizing that particular path that he has mentioned, that they gave him names. Now statistics will go chop. Now this will go happen. They keep telling us all these numbers they are quoting. The other day they say they have changed the method of calculating inflation in Nigeria, and the inflation rate in Nigeria is 5%. No problem. The question is this: the only economy that I know that works is the economy of what you're feeling. Nigerians, is your life better? What is the quality of your life 30 days ago, 60 days ago, 1 year ago, 8 years ago? The likes of Dio Israel might tell you that the country is better. Yes, because indeed the country is better for him. And that is why he's praying for you 18-year-old and 17-year-old to come back in 2027 to vote them so that his life will continue to be better. That is it. So I think that's all I have for tonight. And
let's
now
take
that
some
we have,
let's take some of the comments.
okay. You have to play their kind of fire for fire politics during the election in order to win. It's terrible. They tell you to go to court. Now you are beginning to understand. That's why Nigerians and Nigeria are considered the most corrupt people and country in the world. It's a pity. APC is a terrorist organization and INEC committed treasonable felony. Judiciary destroyed the constitution and democracy under the watchful eyes of Nigerian armed forces. So the question is, who have you left out now? You have mentioned the political party. You have mentioned the electoral organizing body. You have mentioned those who give judgment, which is the judiciary. And you've mentioned the security. So it's like all these people you have mentioned are Acropolis. They are on one side, and then the Nigerians are on one side. So they're enjoying themselves. Politicians appear to be the biggest class of thieves ever. Indeed.
Yeah. So guys, we are going to end it here. These are some of the things we want to share with you guys for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Please give this video a like. Just do us that favor so that YouTube can recommend it for others to watch. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more uploads. So at this point, I want to say a very big thank you for being a part of today's live session. God bless you and have a very good sound sleep. Good night. Bye.
Thank you. Good night. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.